Hello, thank you for joining us. Iran is intensifying its attacks on energy facilities around the Gulf, pushing gas and oil prices higher. Iran's foreign minister threatened today the country will have, quote, zero restraint if its infrastructure is hit again. His comments come after Israel struck Iran's South Pars gas field yesterday. President Trump claims the U.S. had nothing to do with it, and he told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to carry out the attack. Netanyahu said today Israel will hold off on additional gas field strikes. Today at the White House, President Trump told reporters he is not sending troops into Iran, but added, quote, if I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you. The president also said the war is going to be over pretty soon.
We've obliterated their Navy. We've obliterated just about everything there is to obliterate, including leadership. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft equipment is gone. We're flying wherever we want, Pete. We have nobody even shooting at us.
Earlier today, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth responded to a report that the Pentagon will ask Congress for an additional $200 billion for the war. Hegseth said that number could change because it, quote, takes money to kill bad guys. He also warned of a new wave of attacks.
Today will be the largest strike package yet, just like yesterday was. As I've said from day one, our capabilities continue to build. Iran's continue to degrade. We're hunting and striking death and destruction from above.
Last night, Iran attacked Qatar's Ras Laffan liquefied natural gas facility. The Qatari energy minister says the missile strikes reduced export capacity by 17% and caused an estimated loss of $20 billion in annual revenue. The price of crude oil remains stuck at more than $100 per barrel. AAA says the average U.S. gas price is up 4 cents since yesterday to $3.88 per gallon. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the U.S. may lift sanctions on some Iranian oil to help keep prices down. The leaders of the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Japan also say they are ready to, quote, contribute appropriate efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The vital shipping lane has been effectively closed since the start of the war. CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson joins me now. Eleanor, thanks for being with us. Secretary Hegseth says today would bring the, quote, largest strike package yet against Iran. What does that mean?
Well, yeah, Elaine, he has really said every day since the war that each day has gotten more intense with larger and larger strike packages. That means the military has now destroyed enough of Iran's air defenses that it can now fly more aircraft like heavy bombers, the B-1s, the B-2s, the B-52s that carry large numbers of bombs over Iran. That doesn't mean there's no risk, because as we reported today, an F-35 had to make an emergency landing at a regional base after flying a combat mission over Iran. But overall, the military is flying more of the types of missions that we saw on Tuesday, when they dropped multiple 5,000-pound bombs targeting an underground storage facility for anti-ship cruise missiles the military says posed a direct threat to the Strait of Hormuz. That's a reminder that even as the military is flying deeper and deeper into Iranian territory, it's still working to destroy some of those risks to the strait, the drones, the missiles, and the fast attack boats Iran still has.
Well, Iran has been retaliating against energy infrastructure in other Gulf nations like Qatar and Kuwait following the Israeli attack on the South Pars gas field yesterday. What are some of the broader consequences, Eleanor, of those attacks at this point?
The broader consequences could be long-term impacts to the energy markets, depending on how long it takes those facilities to be repaired. The Qatar defense minister today said that the damage from one of the strikes on its facilities could take about 5 years to repair. That's partly why President Trump was so angry about Israel's decision to target an Iranian natural gas field that prompted that retaliation from Iran against Qatar. President Trump on social media said Israel won't do it again, but at the same time, he warned Iran that the U.S. could join in those strikes against the gas field if it doesn't stop its attacks against the Gulf countries.
All right, Eleanor Watson for us. Eleanor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For more, let's bring in CBS News White House correspondent Willie James Inman. Willie James, as we mentioned, President Trump claims the war will be over soon, but Defense Secretary Hegseth confirmed the Pentagon will be asking for more money for the conflict. Where is the disconnect here? Why does the Pentagon need more money if the war is supposedly ending soon?
Hey there, Elaine. Good to be with you on this Thursday evening. Well, the president seeking to clarify this proposal from the Pentagon, which we have not seen on paper just yet. Typically, these supplemental requests come from the Office of Management and Budget, and we haven't seen that because this is something that has been floated by the Pentagon. $200 billion, certainly a major amount of money and funds needed for a potential war effort in Iran. The White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett earlier this week saying some $12 billion had been spent. But the president had this to say to our own Weijia Jiang about that funding request. Listen.
If the war is almost over, why is the Pentagon going to ask Congress for an additional $200 billion?
Well, we're asking for a lot of reasons beyond even what we're talking about in Iran. This is a very volatile world, and the military equipment, the power of some of this weaponry is unthinkable. You don't even want to know about it. Oh, you could end this thing in 2 seconds if you wanted to, but we are being very judicious. But we want to do. Don't forget, Biden gave away. I rebuilt the military in my first term.
And the president later in his statement there referred to the situation in Afghanistan, the pullout of Afghanistan, blaming former President Biden for that situation. Some $7 billion worth of military equipment was left behind, as CBS News has previously reported, in Afghanistan. In terms of Ukraine, the president also blasting the former president for giving. Now, remember, this was appropriated funds approved by Congress in terms of that military assistance to Ukraine. Estimates show about $175 billion given there in terms of military equipment, but also financial aid and assistance to Ukraine. So that's the reasoning here. The president seeking to clarify this $200 billion request, that it's not just about Iran, but about replenishing a lot of the military equipment at the United States, for the United States military, I should say.
Well, President Trump also said today he thought the economic fallout from the war would be, quote, much worse, even as Americans continue to see soaring gas prices. What more are you hearing about the administration's plans to keep prices down?
Well, one of the more radical ideas, you could say, if you will, is to unsanction Russian oil. That is something that has been floated by this White House, and to unsanction Iranian oil, essentially to create more supply to help stabilize that price. That is something that the White House is considering moving forward with. We, of course, know that this situation has created a volatile situation for the energy markets, and the president is seeking to get a hold on those energy prices that we've seen tick up for gasoline, specifically about $1 since this war began, Elaine.
All right, Willie James Inman at the White House. Thank you so much.